Well, we're live. This is our week 6 MOSOMELT webinar. Live with Ian Upton, all the way from Coventry University in the UK.
Hello.
Good to see you again, Ian. And yeah, so this week, I guess, is basically the last week of this current iteration of the Zoom week. So don't be sad, but we shall do it again. And intend to continue our fantastic webinar series. So we might get Ian to do a bit more light bites, get a few guest people doing stuff as well.
Yeah, I'd quite like to do that, Tom. And in fact, it's interesting. I was chatting here at the university, and they're encouraging me to try out some more stuff like that. So
Okay,
I think if you invite me, there'd be a lovely opportunity to join in.
So they're not going to ban you this time.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so this week's topic, and excuse my croaky voice, I've still got a croaky voice, is exploring open scholarship. And can sound a little bit scary, but really it's just about sharing your practice, sharing your research into your practice. And I find, particularly in education, that there's a huge international community of people that are willing to share, and Ian is one of those, and it's fantastic to have his input into what we're doing on the other side of the world.
What I will say though, Tom, is you just highlighted that there, and I should be honest, as somebody who I wouldn't consider myself a heavyweight researcher, I do stuff and I experiment and whatever, but this whole idea of getting out into that community, I should be quite honest, is quite terrifying sometimes, because it's like there's loads of stuff out there. You don't know what levels to put things, you don't know where stuff's safe, all that sort of carry on. So for people who perhaps are feeling a little bit like me, it can be quite a daunting thing to undertake.
Yeah, and I guess once you've been doing it for a while, you forget that. And I guess a big part of my role, being an academic advisor, is really mentoring people into that, and modeling, perhaps some processes around, reflective practice research, scholarship of teaching and learning, scholarship of technology enhanced learning, and open practice around that. So just got a few ideas to bat around tonight. So that's really what our week has been about. So I'm just going to jump into screen sharing and just show a couple of things here.
You really are suffering with your throat, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just on the edge of wanting to cough uncontrollably. But anyway, so you should see. Oh, there we go. The WordPress Hub. So we have week 6, developing open scholarship or exploring open scholarship. And we just got a few ideas to sort of knock around. So one of the things I quite like is establishing some social research networks, because then becomes part of this international community and a way of getting your practice, your research out there and getting people to be able to read it and give you feedback and comment on it. So one of my favorite networks is ResearchGate. Are you on ResearchGate, Ian?
I'm not actually, and I'm going to ask you a little bit more about this in a minute, if I may.
Okay, so it's researchgate.net, and obviously I'm signed in, so you see my timeline there and the people that I'm following, their activity, and my profile, etc. So obviously the first time you go there, you register, and it's all free, of course. ResearchGate's been around for a few years now. I think sort of around 2012, 2011, something like that, and did get quite significant funding from the Gates Foundation.
As in Bill?
Yeah, Bill and his wife, yeah.
I was going to ask you who funded this and where it actually comes from, because again, as a sort of fairly new to this, you see these names and things like ResearchGate, but you don't really know the background or where they come from, which again makes it a little bit difficult or not difficult, sort of, you're not quite sure if it's the right place to be. But it sounds to me, Tom, this would be a good place for you to start, would it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's other ones, and we'll talk about a few, like academia.edu and Mendeley.
Sure.
But ResearchGate.
Sorry. Yeah.
ResearchGate is not sort of owned by a publishing company, so it's not owned by Scopus or Web of Science or Elsevier. So they're not pushing, one channel of publication. It's much more open than that. It's more about sharing of ideas of researchers worldwide. So there's much more than education there, but that's my domain is higher education. That's what I get into.
And what would be the reason for using something like this, Tom, rather than something like LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, I think, tends to be more of a professional portfolio. It tends to be where people go when they're looking for employees or looking for jobs. So it's more that end rather than your research as such. Right. Increasingly, people are starting to attach their research, or educationalists are, to their LinkedIn profiles as a way of sharing. And the other key difference is, of course, LinkedIn is actually being bought by Microsoft. So
yes,
it's part of Microsoft's cloud. So if you're not so cool on Microsoft, then maybe you wouldn't want to go there. But yeah, it's just another tool, another tool in your belt as such.
Yeah.
So with ResearchGate, one of the things I like is that you can, excuse me, upload and share your various types of research, but you can also highlight stuff around projects. My voice is rapidly getting worse.
Do you need to stop for a minute and have a drink and a cough muted or something?
Oh dear. We'll see how we go.
Okay.
So
this is an area I can't really pick up and help you on, you see. So.
Yeah. I guess my latest projects I've sort of wrapped up into ResearchGate projects. So it becomes a way of curating what we're doing and sharing that. Oh dear, I think I'm going to have to give up. Excuse me. Maybe we'll just get people to watch this morning's episode because my voice is gone, I think. So excuse me, and rather than hear me cough.
It's turning into
yeah. I think I'm going to have to stop the broadcast. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.